library, librobot control, on GitHub, when you submit a new issue, it makes a template for you that's very brief, and it helps you give a very brief request for help. So if you, I want everybody to navigate there just so they can see it once and maybe bookmark it. If you Google GitHub librobot control,
I'll still say the Eric Raymond thing is probably a little more general, but
yeah.
This is a nice quick.
This one,
we're going to make an issue?
Yeah, make an issue, and then it tells you.
It's going to fill out a, first of all, feature request or a bug report.
I tried bug report.
Describe the bug, what's to reproduce, expected behavior. That's very important. The expected behavior part, you know, just, like you're telling me it doesn't work, but what were you thinking that like, it's working like I would expect it to work? What is it that you're expecting that it's not working for you?
So the students have come to me and said the magnetometer doesn't work because, why? Well, it gave me 1011 as a result when I pointed this way. Okay, what's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that, exactly?
Well, it should be within 0 to 360.
Ah, okay.
So if you submit...
And why did you think it should be between 0 and 360?
Right.
But either way, now I've got a basis for...
So now that person can help you in one response instead of 2 back and forth responses.
Exactly. So yeah, if you show people respect for their time, they will give you a lot of time back. They will shower you with knowledge if they can do so in an efficient way.
Nothing excites me more than a chance to help someone solve a problem that only I can solve. If their colleague, if another student, if Google can solve that problem for you, then I'm offended that you came to me and wanted someone with an engineering degree to solve a problem that Google could do. One time a student asked me, they said, your instructions aren't clear, what's wrong? Well, you said you need to fit these 2 tabs together with a dovetail. I don't know what a dovetail is. I'm like, hey Siri. And their phone responds, and then their phone tells them what a dovetail is.
If you ever get this response from me,
Google that for you.
If you ever get this response from me, you've messed up.
This one's great.
Oh, that's gonna give me an answer? Yeah, it looks like they've enhanced to let me Google that for you since the last time I visited, but a number of people have gotten that link from me. All right, so don't, hopefully you're not the person that gets the let me Google that for you response. So, okay, we now know where to go fishing. But we don't know where to go looking for the boat, right? The people and people to hop on the boat, right? So let's.
Can I ask one more question before we move on from on the kernel.org, what stops us from just searching the name of the driver in the search box? Because if I'm not sure if it's under sound drivers or
right.
something.
The thing you need to kind of look at, it goes in the log message, or what's the one?
So the HMC, where was it?
5.8.
8.
Is it 5.8.8 or 5.8.4? I'm just going to search for 5.8. I think
5.8 or HMC 5.8.
Go all the way back to root and do the same thing. being a little slow for me.
Why is that?
You can get clone the repo, by the way, and you'll have all the history as well when you get clone the repo. Why is it slow?
Yeah, because it seems like it's all text, it's all organized.
It's a lot of code. Oh, it looks like when I switched that, it actually continued to do the search already. So it was changing the search scope. So it was doing a search, not just going up in the directory. But
So we see.
I mean, it's a database of hundreds of thousands of developers for, you know, I don't know how far it goes back because I think it, you know.
I think we take Google's algorithm for granted.
Yeah, gets pretty slick, gets pretty fast. Linus wrote Git. He got sick of the version control tools, the other options that he had for maintaining the Linux kernel, so he wrote one. I wish I was that smart. I don't know, might be a curse, I don't know. But you can find a bunch of stuff there. So if you look at one of these though, it's not going to necessarily just tell you the.
This one's under II.
Like this is a commit. So under the commit, you would find, okay, these are the files that changed in that commit. Because what we were searching for here is the log message. Now, the individual driver they should mention the driver, the device name in their commit log somewhere. So it turns out to work.
So in this
Just
case,
realize what you're searching there is the log, the
log message.
the logs, not the kernel sources, not the source
So,
itself.
Can we get from here to the source that he's
Right there. So there's,
at?
so I can see. Now nothing here has that particular one you were talking about. What's the particular one? Anyway, I got to the HMC 5.8.
So 5.8.
And then I can click on this. I can click on this driver's IAO
Oh,
magnetone.
okay, I got here now. So.
And then I can find. Oh, okay. There's my 5883L.
Okay. And then, so now we're here. Let's say we wanted to hook up the 5883L.
If you want to hook it up now, today, the most reliable, practical way to do it is to create a device tree overlay fragment. So you go look at, so I don't want to spend too, because at this point for me, you've done enough fishing. I mean, you'll either find your way there or you won't find your way there, but I can help you get there. Thank you for doing the basic homework. But this bb.org overlays is our library of example overlays for Beagles.
This needs to go.
bb.org overlays, and I think there's there's not enough. There's some stuff about how to get how to install the latest kernels. This repo is our repo for device tree overlays. Look at one that looks like what you want to create and fork it. If you can't find a good one, anyway, I'm okay with helping you from here pretty easily. Like it takes me about, if I've got the sensor, it'll take me about 30 minutes from here to have it up and running from this point. Pretty much. So this is not too bad for me. And I don't expect you to be throwing sensors at me every day, right? Probably throwing, if I'm lucky, you're probably throwing a sensor a month at me. I can really handle that workload, no problem. Anyway, lots of good fishing. Maybe you've gotten there on your own at this point. Maybe you've gone to to GitHub.com/beagleboard, found bb.org overlays, found the example overlays here at Sysarm. We've started, these are the ones, so yesterday we got in some examples. here in the repo. One is this, the UDA 1334 is the audio. There's an updated one for the magnetometer, gyroscope, accelerometer. Right, they look like this. Essentially, if I wanted to create one of these, I have to change, well, the part number here matches the part of the file name. The revision code matches part of the file name. So give it something unique and descriptive. This compatible line, and this right here, this is the device node. You give it a useful name, and this is actually, that's important. That little bit there is the I2C address for an I2C device.
And that's going to get pulled out of that line and used?
It's supposed to match this reg equals. It will give you an error if it doesn't. It'll give you a warning if it doesn't match. It's more of a convention than a hard and fast. This one right here, this reg equal, is pulled out. That is absolutely 100% positively used. Now, how do I get these numbers? Right, we're going to go back and figure out how to get these numbers. But this is the place where stuff gets filled in. If there's an interrupt, you might have to add in something for an interrupt line, like which.
I think we're currently using a user space library to talk to our encoders on the wheels.
Yep.
And you're saying that we would hope to do it.
Encoders, I think you're probably using the kernel driver for the encoder, for 3 of the encoders.
Well, they're not technically encoders. They're magnet-based. They're rotation sensors.
Oh, they're different than the quadrature encoders?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And if it's best practice to be doing this with an overlay,
And a kernel driver.
Maybe this morning.
And then it shows up as a file, and then we can do just whatever.
That's a little blurry for me. I don't know. Does anyone else know how they would do that already? Like, can you picture the steps to make it happen? I think maybe that's what we should do. It's existing. What's the name of our sensor? And I bet it's already in. I bet we already have a driver.
Before we do a dive down and do it, I want to get to the collaboration resources.
Okay.
So let's there's more detail to fill in here. We could keep filling in the detail, but like let's walk out of here making it's like, okay, I just lost the detail. I can't retain it. What I need to retain is where to go ask for help. And it doesn't have to be me, because a lot of people know this. So, and they didn't know it at first, right? So there's a network of people here to help. There is, if you go to beagleboard.org, there's a collaborate menu item, right? Because that's our thing, right? We're all about collaboration, so it is a top-level menu item. It really doesn't have a whole lot of stuff. It's got a live chat, forums, and share your project. Then, there's links to the GitHub. You didn't find the GitHub, collaborate through GitHub. I don't know that I need to have Upverter on here at one point. It's an online layout board design tool that maybe I thought people would start collaborating with. They don't. That's the end result. But these first two are super, super important. Live help. Let's get an answer. Why don't we test it? One of the nice things about IRC doing this, they will kind of see where you're coming from. They can look at IP addresses and stuff, but I can ask really stupid questions today and come back and be somebody totally different tomorrow. If you're asking the same questions, they're probably going to figure out it's you. But don't be embarrassed. This is a really, really important thing. Don't be embarrassed to ask the stupid question. I'm not saying don't do your homework. Do your homework. And if you can answer those 4 questions, you're still good, right? You tried to look somewhere. You expected this to happen, and this is what really happened. You've done your homework. You're not going to say, hey, can you do my homework for me? Don't hop on, you can ask me to get a kernel driver for you, but don't ask them to write a kernel driver for you. It's like, I can't figure out where one is, or I can't figure out how to get one made, or something in that context. They're going to point you to resources, point you to other ways that you can go help yourself. They're not going to do your homework for you, but they will help you figure out how to do it. Oh, I don't have a password, and I'm not a robot. This interface has changed since the last time I used it. It was kind of funny. So what's our, oh wow, it's really changed.